The guards dragged her through the frost-covered courtyard by her arms, her bare feet leaving bloody prints on the stone as she fought to stay upright. Maya's wolf whimpered inside her, cowering beneath the layers of suppression magic she had bound around her core since she was 12 years old, but even that ancient binding couldn't fully mask what she was anymore. Not after 3 days of starvation and torture in the border-holding cells. Not after they had forced wolfsbane down her throat and beaten her ribs until breathing felt like swallowing glass. "Move, rogue!" The guard on her left, a beta named Creston, whose mate she had once helped through a difficult birth when she'd been a healer's assistant in her old pack, shoved her forward hard enough that she stumbled. He didn't recognize her. Why would he? That had been 8 years ago, in a territory 400 miles south, and she had been someone else then. Someone with a name that meant something. Someone whose bloodline could have changed everything. The royal guard lined the pathway to the judgment hall, 30 warriors in ceremonial black leather and silver clasps, each one radiating the kind of power that came from years of training and proximity to the throne. They stared at her with cold assessment, measuring the threat level of a half-starved female in a torn dress who couldn't weigh more than 120 pounds soaking wet. No threat. The conclusion written across every face. Just another rogue who got too close to Blackstone territory and would be executed or exiled before sunset. Maya kept her eyes down, her dark hair falling forward to hide her face. The silver collar around her neck burned where it touched her skin, suppressing what little strength she had left, but she welcomed the pain. Pain meant she was still present in her body. Pain meant she hadn't slipped into the dissociative state where her wolf took over, and everything she had spent 16 years hiding came roaring to the surface in a display of power that would get her killed so much faster than a simple execution for trespassing. The massive oak doors of the judgment hall swung open, and the scent hit her like a physical blow. Pine and winter storm and something ancient and wild that made her wolf surge against her restraints, with a desperation that stole her breath. No, not here. Not him. She had been so careful to avoid Blackstone territory, had skirted the borders for 3 months while she searched for safe passage to the northern territories where no one knew her face. But the hunters had found her anyway, had chased her for 2 days through the mountains until she'd collapsed from exhaustion at the border markers, and now she was here, in the one place she could never afford to be. King Damon Blackstone sat on a throne of black stone and silver at the far end of the hall, and even from 30 feet away, even through her exhaustion and fear, Maya felt the crushing weight of his presence like a hand around her throat. He was massive, easily 6.5 feet of solid muscle and predatory grace, with hair so dark it seemed to absorb light, and eyes the color of a winter storm mid-lightning strike. Gray and silver and ruthless. Those eyes tracked her movement as the guards dragged her forward, and something in his expression shifted, a microscopic change that probably no one else in the room noticed, but that made her wolf keen with recognition. Name. His voice rolled through the hall like thunder in the distance, and every wolf present straightened instinctively. Alpha command. It bypassed conscious thought and demanded submission on a biological level. Maya's lips parted, but no sound came out. She couldn't tell him her real name. The moment she did, anyone with knowledge of pack history would recognize it, would know what she was, and she would be dead before she could explain that she wanted no part of her bloodline's legacy, but she couldn't refuse to answer either. The collar prevented direct disobedience to alpha commands. She hasn't spoken since we captured her, my king. Creston's voice held disgust. Typical rogue behavior. No respect for authority, no understanding of hierarchy. Damon's gaze hadn't left her face. He rose from his throne with the fluid grace of a predator, and the entire hall seemed to hold its breath. He was wearing black as always. Black pants, black shirt open at the collar to reveal the edge of a scar that disappeared beneath the fabric. black boots that made no sound on the stone floor as he descended the 3 stairs from his dais and crossed the space between them. Maya's heart hammered against her broken ribs. He was too close. 10 feet, 8 feet, 6. She could see the exact moment his nostrils flared, could see his pupils dilate as he caught her scent beneath the blood and dirt and fear. His hand shot out faster than she could track, gripping her chin and forcing her head up, and the contact sent electricity racing down her spine that had nothing to do with the mate bond. That couldn't be the mate bond, because she had destroyed that possibility 16 years ago, when she had let the witch bind her wolf. "You're not a rogue." His voice had dropped to something quiet and deadly. His thumb traced the edge of her jaw, and she felt him testing the texture of her skin, the bone structure beneath. "Your scent is wrong. You have pack marks. Old ones, layered over each other. 3 different territories at least. And underneath all of it." He leaned in closer, inhaling deeply at the junction of her neck and shoulder, and Maya's wolf slammed against her bindings hard enough that she gasped. "Underneath, you smell like moonlight on snow, like power that hasn't been touched in years." "My king." The voice came from the side, Lord Garrett, the head of Damon's advisory council, a silver-haired alpha who had served 3 generations of Blackstone rulers. "We should proceed with standard rogue protocols. Execute her and be done with it. We have the delegation from Silverpine arriving within the hour. Remove her collar." Damon hadn't looked away from Maya's face. His grip on her chin gentled fractionally, became almost a caress, and she saw something flicker in those storm-gray eyes that looked like recognition. Like he knew her, though they had never met. "Your Majesty, I must protest." Garrett moved into her peripheral vision. The collar is the only thing keeping her wolf suppressed. If she has concealed power, remove it now, or I will remove your head from your shoulders. Damon's voice never rose above conversational level, but the alpha dominance that rolled off him made every wolf in the hall drop their eyes in submission. All except Maya, who was trapped in his gaze, drowning in it. Creston fumbled with the collar's lock. The silver mechanism clicked open, and the band fell away from her throat, clattering to the stone floor with a sound like a death knell. For 3 heartbeats, nothing happened. Maya held onto her bindings with everything she had, wrapping them tighter, forcing her wolf down into the cage she had built from trauma and desperation, and the absolute certainty that exposure meant death. Then Damon inhaled again, and this time, when he caught her true scent, his entire body went rigid. The sound that came from his chest wasn't quite a growl, wasn't quite words, but every wolf in the room felt it resonate in their bones. Around them, the royal guard began to shift, their expressions changing from boredom to shock to something that looked like awe. "Everybody out." Damon's command cracked through the air like a whip. "Clear the hall, now." "My lord," Garrett started. "Now." The alpha command in that single word sent wolves scrambling for the doors. Garrett hesitated only a second before bowing and retreating, Creston and the other guards following, until the vast hall held only Maya and the king and the 30 members of the royal guard who stood frozen in place, staring at her with expressions she couldn't decipher. Damon's hand slid from her chin to cup the back of her neck, his palm covering the exact spot where a mating mark would rest. His skin was fever-hot against hers, and she felt his wolf pushing at the surface, felt the answering call in her own blood that she had spent 16 years pretending didn't exist. "What are you?" He breathed the words against her temple, and his other hand came up to steady her when her knees buckled. "No, I know what you are. I can feel it. I've felt it since the moment you crossed my borders 3 days ago. I just couldn't believe." He pulled back enough to meet her eyes again, and the raw intensity in his gaze stole what little breath she had left. "The binding on your wolf is old magic, blood magic. Someone wrapped you in chains when you were a child and locked away everything you were meant to be." Maya's voice came out as barely a whisper, scraped raw from screaming in the holding cells. Please, I just wanted to pass through. I won't stay. I won't claim anything. I just need safe passage to the north, and then you'll never see me again. Safe passage. He repeated the words like they were in a foreign language. His hands tightened on her, not enough to hurt, but enough that she felt the leashed strength in his grip. You're standing in my judgment hall smelling like pure alpha bloodline, not just alpha, but Luna Prime. And you think I'm going to let you walk into the northern territories where the Frost Pack would claim you before you made it 5 miles past the border? I won't be claimed by anyone. The words came out sharper than she intended, born from 16 years of running. I don't want this. I never wanted any of it. What's your name? When she didn't answer, he shook her gently, his wolf flashing gold in his eyes. Tell me your name. Your real name. The binding around her wolf cracked, just a hairline fracture, but enough that her power leaked through in a wave that made every member of the royal guard take an involuntary step back. The temperature in the hall dropped 10 degrees in an instant. Frost spread across the stone floor in crystalline patterns that spiraled out from where she stood, and the torches along the walls flickered and dimmed, their flames turning from orange to pale blue. Maya Silvercrest. The name tore out of her like a confession. My name is Maya Silvercrest, daughter of Alpha Marcus and Luna Catherine, sole surviving heir of the Silvercrest bloodline, and I am supposed to be dead. The silence that followed was absolute. Even Damon had gone completely still, his hands frozen on her skin. Then, slowly, deliberately, every single member of the royal guard dropped to one knee, their heads bowed in submission. Not to Damon, to her. The Silvercrest pack was massacred 16 years ago. Damon's voice was careful, controlled, but she heard the razor edge beneath it. The rogue army killed everyone. There were no survivors. There was one. Maya's laugh was bitter. A 12-year-old girl who watched her entire family die, who let a witch bind her wolf so completely that she disappeared into nothing, who has been running ever since. Because dead bloodlines make convenient puppets for anyone ambitious enough to fake a resurrection. She met his eyes, letting him see the truth of every year she had spent hiding. I am the last Silvercrest. I am Luna Prime by birth, second only to the moon goddess herself in the hierarchy of our kind. My bloodline stretches back 3,000 years to the first wolves who walked on 2 legs, and I have spent 16 years making sure no one ever discovered that I lived, because the moment they did, I would become a symbol to fight over, a prize to claim, a weapon to wield. Her voice dropped to something raw and broken. I am so tired of running. But I will run until I die before I let anyone use me again. Damon's expression shifted into something she couldn't read. His hands remained gentle on her, despite the revelation, despite the power now radiating off her in waves that made the air shimmer. Who hurt you? Each word was precise, controlled. Who taught you that being what you are meant being used? Everyone. The word came out flat. The rogues who killed my family wanted to erase the Silvercrest line because my mother refused to support their claim to alpha status in the Southern Territories. The packs who survived the massacre wanted to claim me as a child bride to legitimize their own bloodlines. The witch who bound me wanted payment in blood and service. The packs I hid in wanted free labor and someone to abuse when things went wrong because I couldn't fight back without revealing what I was. She felt the fracture in her binding spreading, felt 16 years of suppressed power straining against the weakening chains. I learned very quickly that kindness is rare, that power makes you a target, and that the only way to survive is to become invisible. You were never invisible to me. Damon's thumb stroked along her jaw, a gesture so tender it made her chest ache. I've known you were in my territory for 3 months. Maya's breath caught. That's not possible. I stayed in the forest. I never came near Packlands. You healed a pup who had been attacked by a bear. You left herbs and bandages at a lone wolf's den when he was sick with fever. You sang to the dying elder at the edge of my borders until she passed peacefully instead of alone. His other hand came up to cradle her face, holding her like she was something precious. My scouts reported every incident. A female wolf who appeared out of nowhere, helped whoever needed it, then vanished before anyone could thank her. I ordered them to find you, to bring you in safely, but you moved like smoke. Every time they got close, you disappeared. His voice dropped to a rough whisper. I've been looking for you for 3 months, Maya. I just didn't know what I was going to find when I finally caught you. And now that you know? She hated how small her voice sounded. Now that you know I'm Silvercrest, that I'm Luna Prime, what happens to me? Around them, the royal guard remained kneeling, their heads bowed, and Maya realized with a jolt that they weren't going to rise until she gave them permission. They had recognized what she was the moment her power leaked through, had felt the weight of her bloodline in their bones, and their wolves had submitted without conscious thought. Damon's expression hardened into something fierce and possessive. What happens to you is that you stop running. What happens is that I give you a choice, the first real choice anyone has given you in 16 years. He shifted his grip, one hand sliding down to wrap around her wrist, his fingers finding the rapid flutter of her pulse. You can stay here, under my protection, with the full support of Blackstone Pack while you heal, and decide what you want to do with your life. No obligations, no expectations. No one will touch you, claim you, or use you for anything. You'll have rooms in the Royal Wing, access to healers who can help you unwind that binding safely, and my personal guarantee that anyone who threatens you will answer to me. And the second option? She forced the words out through a throat tight with emotion. His eyes flashed gold again, and this time she felt the presence of his wolf rising to the surface, ancient and powerful and utterly focused on her. The second option is that you accept what we both felt the moment I touched you. You accept that my wolf recognized yours despite the binding, that the mate bond has been pulling at me for 3 months every time I caught your scent on the wind, and that I have been half mad with the need to find you and keep you safe. He leaned in until his forehead rested against hers, until she could feel his breath on her lips. You accept me as your mate. Let me mark you and bond with you and stand beside you as my Luna Queen, and together we restore the Silvercrest name to the honor it deserves. Maya's entire body trembled. The binding around her wolf was unraveling faster now, pulled apart by proximity to her mate and the weight of finally speaking her true name after 16 years of silence. I can't be what you need. I can't be Luna Queen. I don't know how to lead a pack. How to... You've been leading from the shadows your entire life. Damon cut her off gently. You've been protecting, healing, guiding, and surviving against impossible odds since you were 12 years old. You think I need some perfectly trained queen who knows all the protocols? He laughed, and the sound was warm and real. I need you, Maya, the female who sings to dying wolves, the one who heals bear-mauled pups, the one who has been so beaten down by the world that she forgot she was born to rule it. I'm afraid. The admission tore out of her. I'm so afraid that if I let myself be what I am, if I accept this, something will happen and I'll lose everything again. I can't survive that. I can't lose anyone else. Then it's a good thing I'm not easy to kill. His lips quirked into something that wasn't quite a smile. I'm the Blackstone Alpha King, Maya. I've held this territory against challenges from 3 neighboring packs, survived 2 assassination attempts, and personally executed the rogue Alpha who tried to claim my throne 5 years ago. I've been waiting my entire life for my mate, and now that I've found you, now that I know what you are, and what you've survived, the gold in his eyes blazed brighter. There is no force in this world or any other that will take you from me. I will burn down kingdoms. I will start wars. I will tear apart anyone and anything that threatens you. That's not a promise. That's an inevitability. The binding shattered. It happened all at once. 16 years of compressed power exploding outward in a surge that sent every wolf in the hall to their knees, including Damon. The frost on the floor turned to ice, climbing up the walls in sheets of crystalline beauty. The torches exploded into pillars of blue-white flame. And Maya's wolf surged to the surface for the first time since she was 12 years old, flooding her body with strength and power and the absolute certainty of recognition. Mine. Her wolf's voice echoed through her mind, primal and possessive and utterly sure. Mate. Ours. Protect. Keep. Damon's wolf answered with a roar that wasn't quite sound, and Maya felt the mate bond snap into place like a chain made of starlight and inevitability. It wrapped around her heart, binding her to him on a level so fundamental that she couldn't tell where she ended, and he began. She felt his wolf recognizing hers, felt the way his power rose to meet hers without trying to dominate it, felt the bone-deep rightness of two alpha souls designed to fit together. He rose to his feet despite the crushing weight of her power, fighting against his wolf's instinct to submit, and when he reached for her this time, she let him pull her against his chest. His arms wrapped around her like bands of steel, holding her together when she felt like she might shatter from the intensity of everything crashing through her at once. "I've got you." He breathed the words into her hair. "I've got you, mate. You're safe now. You're home." Maya's hands fisted in his shirt, and for the first time in 16 years, she let herself break. She sobbed against his chest, great heaving gasps that she had held back for so long she had forgotten how to cry properly. She cried for her murdered family, for the child she had been, for every year spent hiding and running and pretending to be less than she was. She cried for the loneliness, for the fear, for the exhaustion of never being able to rest. And through it all, Damon held her. He didn't try to shush her or tell her it would be okay. He just held her, one hand stroking her hair, the other pressed flat against her back, grounding her through the bond with the steady certainty of his presence. When she finally quieted, her voice was wrecked but steady. "I'll stay." She pulled back enough to meet his eyes. "I'll stay, and I'll try. I can't promise I won't be afraid. I can't promise I won't want to run when things get hard. But I'll try. That's all I'm asking." He cupped her face in both hands, his thumbs wiping away the tears still tracking down her cheeks. "Just try, one day at a time. And whenever you get scared, whenever you want to run, you tell me first. We face it together." "Together," she repeated, testing the word. It felt foreign and fragile, but underneath the fear, she felt the mate bond humming with truth. He meant it. Every word. Damon's expression shifted into something almost playful. "Now, there's just one more thing we need to take care of." He raised his voice, addressing the royal guard who were still kneeling around them. "Rise and bear witness." The 30 warriors rose as one, their expressions carefully neutral, but their eyes bright with understanding. "This is Maya Silvercrest, last of her bloodline, Luna Prime by birth, and my fated mate." Damon's voice rang through the hall with alpha command. "From this moment forward, she is under the protection of Blackstone Pack. She is your Luna Queen. Anyone who threatens her, harms her, or disrespects her will answer to me personally." He paused, letting the weight of that sink in. "Spread the word through the pack. We have a queen, and she is not to be questioned." "Yes, my king." The response came in perfect unison, and then the royal guard was bowing again, this time to both of them. Marcus stepped forward, the captain of the guard, a scarred veteran who had served Damon since before he took the throne. "Your Majesty, if I may?" At Damon's nod, he turned to Maya, his expression unreadable. I was there the night Silvercrest fell. I was a young warrior in the coalition that arrived too late to help. Something that might have been grief flickered across his face. Your mother saved my life once, when I was barely more than a pup who had wandered too far from home. She could have let the rogue patrol kill me, but she killed them instead, and carried me back to my pack herself. He dropped to one knee again, this time by choice rather than compulsion. I swear my life, and my blade to you, Luna Queen. As your mother once protected me, I will protect you. Unto death and beyond. One by one, the other members of the guard followed suit, each offering their own oath, their own promise of loyalty. By the time the last warrior had spoken, Maya's throat was tight with emotion again, but this time it wasn't from grief. Damon's arm tightened around her waist. Can you stand? We should get you to the healers. Those ribs need attention, and you need food and rest. I can stand. She let him support part of her weight anyway, too tired to pretend she didn't need the help. But Damon? What happens when word spreads? When other packs find out that Silvercrest survived, they'll come. They'll want... Let them come. His voice was flat, final. Let every pack in every territory hear that the last Silvercrest is under my protection, that she is my mate and my queen, and that anyone who wants to challenge that claim can meet me in single combat. His smile was sharp and dangerous. I've been looking for a good fight anyway. Despite everything, Maya felt her lips curve into something that might have been a smile. You're insane. Probably. He pressed a kiss to her temple, gentle and possessive. But you're stuck with me now, mate. The bond doesn't break, the mark doesn't fade, and I don't lose. I'm starting to figure that out. She let him guide her toward the side door, away from the main entrance where the pack was probably still gathered, waiting for news of the rogue's execution. What are you going to tell them? The pack? The truth. Damon's hand found hers, lacing their fingers together. That I found my mate. That she's Luna Prime. That she's the strongest, bravest female I've ever met, and they're damn lucky to have her. He paused at the door, turning to face her fully. And that anyone who has a problem with it can take it up with me and my royal guard. Our royal guard, Maya corrected softly, the words feeling strange but right. If I'm doing this, if I'm staying, then they're ours. The smile that broke across Damon's face was genuine and bright, transforming his usually stern features into something almost boyish. Our royal guard, he agreed. Our pack, our territory, our life. He leaned down until his lips barely brushed hers, giving her time to pull away if she wanted. Our future. Maya closed the distance between them, pressing her lips to his in a kiss that was soft and searching and full of promise. The mate bond flared bright and hot between them, and she felt his wolf surge forward to meet hers, twining together in a way that felt like coming home after years of wandering in the dark. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Damon rested his forehead against hers. Welcome home, Maya Silvercrest. Welcome to Blackstone. Welcome to the life you were always meant to have. Welcome home, she repeated, and for the first time in 16 years, she let herself believe it might actually be true. Did you enjoy this story? Should I make a part 2? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more alpha romance stories. Thanks for watching.